Dear students, now we are going to discuss mineral nutrition. Second chapter in plant physiology, mineral nutrition. Okay, so in all organisms, for all organisms, what are the basic needs? And what are the major chemical components with the help of which the body of organism is constructed? Definitely biomolecules. What are the biomolecules? Macro and microbiomolecules. What are they? DNA, RNA, nucleic acids, polysaccharides, proteins, lipids. So these are the biomolecules with the help of which our body is constructed, plant body is constructed. And some are genetical, some are involved in the construction of cell wall, some are involved in the construction of plasma membrane. So these are the basic needs of any organism. To synthesize these biomolecules, if you analyze these biomolecules, any biomolecule, definitely carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, most common. In addition to that, rest of the inorganic nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, boron, molybdenum, and iron like that are present. So within the body, these inorganic nutrients, what are they? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, molybdenum, manganese, chlorine, and so on. Iron, copper. So all these are the elements. Periodic table, elements. I think according to our textbook 105 given, total number of elements. According to chemistry, I think 118 something. But follow according to inside textbook. Or check, look into chemistry periodic table. What about the total number of elements, inorganic nutrients? So these are the inorganic nutrients. So all these are chemically binded. Chemically binded. Okay, right? And some are available freely in the cytoplasm. So without these inorganic nutrients, definitely there is no synthesis of so-called biomolecules, primary metabolites. Then what about construction of the body, metabolism of the body? Will be imbalanced or not? Okay, right? So to synthesize all these molecules, these are mandatory. So that's why we have to study what type of minerals, inorganic nutrients are required by plants and other animals. But here we are concerned with plants. Okay, so how many inorganic nutrients are required? What about the importance of those inorganic nutrients? How many are essential? All are essential. How many are essential? What about the criteria to decide essentiality of inorganic nutrients? And what about the mechanism of absorption of inorganic nutrients? Okay, and what about deficiency symptoms of inorganic nutrients? What is the physiological role of inorganic nutrient? So we have to discuss all these things. And this chapter ultimately ends with nitrogen metabolism. So nitrogen is most important inorganic nutrient, which is involved in synthesis of a number of biomolecules. So how to understand the importance of all these inorganic nutrients? How many are important? So to know essentiality of or importance of these inorganic nutrients, that may be carbon or hydrogen or oxygen or nitrogen or phosphorus or potassium or calcium or zinc or boron or molybdenum. So what type of technique is required? So the technique is hydroponics. hydroponics, that is water culture. So hydroponics is used to demonstrate the importance of minerals in plant metabolism. Okay, so it was first identified, first it is invented by Julius Van Sox. Julius Van Sox. Hydroponics. What is hydroponics? Cultivation of plants. Cultivation of tomato plants, lettuce plants, small sized plants, particularly small sized plants, tomato, lettuce, leafy vegetable, and other vegetable producing plants, small sized plants. Cultivation of small sized plants in mineral solution, mineral solution, mineral water. Okay, so mineral solution, water plus inorganic nutrients, and compulsory that so-called solution without soilless culture, and without organic compound, soilless culture, no organic nutrient. So according to this knowledge, definitely we are going to understand that root is able to absorb water and inorganic nutrients from the soil, particularly to synthesize organic compounds. So it is a inorganic culture, culturing of plants, growth and development of plant within mineral solution, inorganic nutrient solution. Okay, so in our textbook, two methods given. Two methods. First one, this one is a beaker, a pot-like structure. You can use pot also. Okay, first one. Okay. So here, one, wait. The purpose of this one is aeration. Aeration. Here, if you observe, small dots are present at the end of that expanded structure. Aeration, that is able to pump oxygen, particularly aeration. Okay, next. This one, root system, soaked or submerged in water, and shoot and leaves and like that, and some support for that one with the help of cotton here. You may use some other also. Better use cotton. This is a cotton to hold the plant. Next, one more tube. Purpose to introduce water periodically, water plus minerals. Okay, so now this one is a solution of inorganic nutrients. So roots are bathed in, root system is bathed in inorganic solution. Continuously we have to increase BOD. We have to increase oxygen levels, O2 is required for the respiratory activity of root system. Go back to root modifications, mangrove plants. In mangroves, what about the root system? What about the habitat of mangroves growing in marshy, saline habitats? So that habitat is waterlogged. Root system would suffer from lack of oxygen, suffocation. Now, certain number of lateral roots will come out of the soil to supply oxygen for the respiratory activity of underground root system, pneumatophores, right? Pneumatophores. So like that, aeration is required. We have to increase O2 content within the solution. Purpose for aerobic respiration performed by root system. Aeration is required. Otherwise, root system will suffer from lack of oxygen, suffocation, and it will die fast. So this is the first experiment. So continuously we have to add oxygen. Continuously we have to add water and minerals. Particularly aeration is a major limitation. Continuously we have to pump oxygen. And the second experiment, this is a trough tube. Trough tube, slanting position, slightly slanted, not too much, not too much. In slanting, and certain number of holes. Okay, so root system, plant root system, plant root system. Okay, and some stand, supporting stand, and this one is reservoir. Okay, so reservoir of solution, inorganic solution. Don't use organic solution. And inside this pump is present. For example, this is a dummy one pump. So pipe connected to other mouth of so-called one. Okay, so what about the movement of a inorganic solution from pump, tube into trough? All the roots are soaked, submerged in so-called solution. Solution is coming back. You need not to aerate it. Naturally aerated. Natural aeration. Naturally aeration. This is a second one. This is a trough. Tube. Simply tube. Tube with holes on the top. So roots are bathing. Bathing means soaked in inorganic solution. So by adding one kind of nutrient, by removing it, and by adding certain number of substituting certain number of inorganic nutrients, addition, deletion, by doing like this, definitely we can observe what about the importance of that inorganic nutrient. So nowadays hydroponics is commercially utilized for production of vegetables, tomatoes, and leafy vegetables, lettuce, and like that. Okay, so this is a less space consuming. You need not to plow entire land. Just establish a tubes or so-called beakers instead of soil. Okay, so you need not to add too much amount of inorganic fertilizer. We can curtail utilization of inorganic fertilizer also by means of this one. That is advantage. So that is about hydroponics. To understand importance of inorganic nutrients. Out of 118, or according to our textbook 105 or 108, in most of the plants, at least one or two are plants, at least more than 60 elements are present. Out of all these elements, how many are essential? Essential means compulsory required. Without that inorganic nutrient, plant is not able to complete its life cycle, not able to survive, definitely will die. So for that one, criteria of essentiality. Criteria of essentiality. They provided criteria of essentiality. Julius von Sachs proposed criteria of essentiality, means rules and regulations to decide an inorganic nutrient as essential. Essential means mandatory, compulsory. Without that, the organism is not able to survive. What are the rules and regulations to consider an element as essential? That element is required, essential for growth, essential for growth and development, and reproduction. Growth and reproduction. Growth and reproduction. Otherwise, there is no completion of its life cycle. There is no formation of seed, fruit. Definitely that will die. First rule. Second one, direct role. Element should involve directly in plant metabolism, directly involved in plant metabolism. No impersonation, no intermediate compound, directly that should involve sulfur. Sulfur should be involved, not in the form of some other byproduct or end product. Directly involved. Next, third one, that element must be specific, not replaced by some other element. Here, directly involved, direct involvement, specific, only that should be involved, not replaced by some other inorganic nutrient, not compensated by some other inorganic nutrient. So element which is able to satisfy these rules is called as a essential inorganic nutrient. So according to criteria of essentiality, how many are essential? According to our textbook, 17 elements are essential. 17 are essential elements. In addition to this, some plants are able to absorb gold, selenium. Okay, they are able to grow in the area where radioactive isotopes are present. Strontium. They are restricted to certain number of higher plants only. They are required by those plants. Next, what are the beneficial elements? They are not essential. Beneficial, advantageous. Beneficial elements. Okay, these are not essential. Essential only 17 are the essential. We'll see what are they. Gold, selenium, strontium, not essential. Even without them, they can survive. Beneficial elements. How many beneficial elements are there? They're also not essential. What are they? 1. Silica, silicon, selenium, sodium. In the case of plants, in our body, sodium is mandatory. Next, cobalt. These are the beneficial elements. Additional benefits. They are not essential. Even without that, the plant is able to survive. Now, classification of essential elements. Classification of essential elements. First criteria on the basis of quantity of that inorganic nutrient present in tissues are absorbed in some quantity, whatever the quantity, absorbed in quantity and present in plant tissues. Quantity of that present in tissues and absorbed by the root system. So first one, macronutrients. Macronutrients, major elements. So here we are having certain number of equipments. We can trace out a small amount of inorganic nutrients, 10 to the power minus 8 grams per milliliter. 10 to the power minus 8 grams per milliliter. So we can trace out that a small amount of inorganic nutrient also, quantity of that one. So on the base of that analysis, what about the criteria here? Macronutrients are more than, greater than 10 millimole kg inverse of dry organic matter. Remember this physical quantity. Their quantity is more than that. They are absorbed in large quantity, more than this physical quantity. What are the examples? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, next magnesium, sulfur, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what about the total number of macronutrients? 9. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur. So 9 elements. Out of 9, these three non-minerals. And what about the minerals? These, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the minerals. 6 are the macro minerals coming from the soil. Mineral means coming from soil, absorbed from the soil. Macronutrients. Next. Second one, micro or trace elements, not a tracer. Don't use a tracer. Tracer element means radioactive isotope. That may be macro or micro. Tracer, able to trace out. Don't use a tracer here. It is a trace element. Trace means small quantity. Micro or trace element. So they are absorbed in less than 10 millimole kg inverse of dry organic matter. And what are the micronutrients? How many are there? Okay, so iron, zinc, molybdenum, manganese, chlorine, nickel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next, boron and copper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 9, 17. And all these 100%, all these micro are minerals coming from soil only. Okay, so altogether out of 17, CHO, framework elements, non-minerals, they are not coming from the soil. Remaining how many? Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus, here how many? 8. Okay, so 17 minus 3, 14 are the minerals. 14 are the minerals. So 3 is to 14. Non-minerals, minerals. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, non-minerals. They are not coming from the minerals present in the rock. They are not coming from the rock. Okay. And what about 14 coming from the minerals of the rock? During weathering process, disintegration, parent rock is able to produce a number of minerals, inorganic nutrients. So that about the classification on the basis of quantitative requirement, not quality, quantitative amount required by the tissue and present in the tissue. So this is our first classification. Second classification. Second method, second classification on the basis of functions, diversified functions. On the base of functions, how many categories? 4 categories. On the base of quantitative requirement, 2 categories. On the base of a function, diversified function, what are they? 1, element, structural elements, framework elements. Structural means involved in the construction of a number of biomolecules. Carbon, what are they? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Nitrogen is mineral. And what about carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, non-minerals? Framework elements. What is a framework? Structurally involved. Construction of cell wall, synthesis of plasma membrane, structurally involved, structural elements. Second one, elements involved in the formation of energy rich compounds present in or formation of energy rich compounds. Elements involved in the synthesis of or construction of energy rich compounds. They are not concerned with energy rich generally. Framework, cellulose like that. Of course, carbon is involved in all, hydrogen maximum extent. But here criteria is little bit different. Energy rich compounds. For example, magnesium present in chlorophyll molecule. Chlorophyll is concerned with energy transformation, radiant energy into chemical energy. Next, phosphate. Phosphate in the synthesis of ATP, GTP, UTP like that. So many are there. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Next, third one, elements required for increasing activity of enzyme. Activators. Activators of enzymes. What is an enzyme? A biocatalyst able to regulate a biochemical reaction, catalysis. So certain number of elements are able to activate enzymes. So they are acting as cofactors. Cofactor. Cofactor is concerned with the activity of enzyme. Cofactor for activity of enzyme. For the catalytic activity of enzyme. What is catalysis? Regulation of a biochemical reaction. The cofactor is able to enhance catalytic activity performed by that enzyme. What are the examples? Mg2 plus is cofactor of Mg2 plus is cofactor of Rubisco. Rubisco. What is Rubisco? Ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. Go back to first year biomolecules. Most abundant protein in biosphere. Rubisco enzyme. Okay, Rubisco is ribulose 1, ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. And second one, pepcase. What is a pepcase? Phosphoenol pyruvic carboxylase. Phosphoenol pyruvic carboxylase. These two enzymes are concerned with photosynthesis. For the catalytic activity of these two enzymes, Mg2 plus is mandate. Next, Zn, zinc, Zn2 plus. So it is required for catalytic activity of alcohol dehydrogenase, enzyme name, concerned with alcoholic fermentation. Next, carboxy peptidase. Carboxypeptidase. Next, molybdenum. Molybdenum, MO, molybdenum. It is a cofactor of nitrogenase. Nitrogenase enzyme concerned with nitrogen metabolism. So these inorganic nutrients are cofactors. They are able to increase the efficiency of enzyme. Fourth one, elements which are concerned with osmoregulation, osmosis, solute concentration, anion cation balance, osmoregulation, regulation of solute levels, regulation of solutes. What are they? Okay, so there sodium, potassium K plus, and chlorine. they are able to decide water potential values, psi W values. By that, they can direct the movement of water. So how many kinds? 1, 2, 3, 4 kinds on the basis of diversified functions. So that's about the classification of so-called inorganic nutrients. First one, 2 categories. Second one, 4 categories. Right? Now, what about the importance of role of inorganic nutrients, both macro and micro? Role, physiological role of inorganic nutrients, role of macro nutrients. First one, nitrogen. N, I am using N here. Nitrogen is absorbed in. What are the absorbable forms? Plant is able to absorb nitrogen in which form? That is fixed form. What is that form? Mostly NO3 minus nitrates, NO2 minus nitrite, and ammonium ion or ammonia, NH4 plus given in your textbook. Definitely they will ask you, what about the absorbable forms of nitrogen, both the anion and cation? Positive charge, negative charge. NO3 minus, NO2 minus, NH4 plus. So that's about absorbable forms of nitrogen. Nitrogen is most important macronutrient. It is required by young tissues, particularly meristematic tissues, which are concerned with growth and development. Not only meristematic tissues, for the formation of DNA, RNA, nitrogen is mandated. For the synthesis of amino acids, proteins, enzymes, nitrogen important. For the synthesis of chlorophyll, nitrogen is required. Go back to biomolecules, nitrogen bases. Adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine, uracil, like that. All these are with C bond N nitrogen. For the formation of a nucleotide, nucleoside, that is required or not? So here absorbable forms are very, very important. Next, second one, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. They are non-minerals. The source of carbon and oxygen, maximum oxygen and complete carbon is coming from CO2. Hydrogen and oxygen, hydrogen completely from H2O and some amount of oxygen from H2O. So that is about role of nitrogen. Next, phosphorus, phosphate, absorbable form. So phosphate is absorbed in which form is very, very important. H2PO4 minus or HPO4 2 minus. H2PO4 minus or HPO4 2 minus, anionic form. Now, what about importance of phosphate? Phospholipid, lecithin, a lipid involved in the construction of a membrane. Phospholipid. Triglyceride, phosphate present or not? Triglyceride with lecithin, that is lecithin, sorry. Lecithin with phosphate. So for the synthesis of lecithin, phosphate required. For the synthesis of energy-rich compounds, ATP, adenosine triphosphate, NADP, in 10th class, NADPHH plus, reduced form of NADP. So for the synthesis of energy-rich compounds, ATP, GTP, and NADPHH plus, phosphate is mandatory. In a nucleotide, what are the components? 3 components are present: phosphate, sugar, nitrogen base. For the synthesis of nucleotide, it is mandatory or not? Definitely, it is mandatory for DNA and RNA formation. And certain number of proteins are with the phosphate. Next, third one, potassium. K plus, monovalent. Monovalent, cationic form only, not anionic form. What about a role of potassium? Potassium is a not structural element. It is concerned with activity of certain number of enzymes required for very youngest tissues, particularly buds, leaves, like that. And potassium is able to regulate anion cation balance. Sorry, potassium is able to regulate or able to balance chlorine. So potassium positively charged, able to balance negatively charged one. So that is in the case of anion cation balance, it is required. And potassium is able to regulate opening and closing mechanism of stomata according to K plus pump hypothesis proposed by Levitt, concerned with photoactive stomata, right? So that is about potassium. Next, after potassium, next, calcium, Ca2 plus divalent. Calcium is required for the formation of a cell wall, calcium peptides, for the formation of middle lamellum. Calcium is a structural element accumulated within older parts. So calcium is required for cell division and differentiation also. Next, fifth one, magnesium, Mg2 plus divalent, positive charge, absorbed in positive charge zone. Cationic form on magnesium role. It is involved in the construction of chlorophyll. Within the chlorophyll, at the center, one magnesium atom is present. Magnesium is mandatory. Okay, for ribosome structure, Mg2 plus is required. For DNA and RNA synthesis, Mg2 plus required. Mg2 plus is a activator of a number of enzymes in respiration and photosynthesis. Activator, right? So that is about a role of magnesium. And the sixth one, after magnesium, absorbed in anionic form, SO4 minus. Sorry. Okay. So SO4 minus. Sulfur. Sulfur is involved in the synthesis of amino acids, cysteine and methionine. And sulfur is component of certain number of vitamins. Vitamins again, biotin, thiamine, and component of coenzyme A, component of ferredoxin. So that's about sulfur. The remaining one is, okay, so 6 completed out of 9, and 6 plus 3, 9 completed. Next, role of micronutrients. First one, iron. Iron is absorbed in Fe3 plus ferric. It is reversibly oxidized during electron transport system. For example, Fe3 plus, one electron is accepted by Fe3 plus. Now it is converted to Fe2 plus. Okay, reduced form, oxidized form. Now, loss of electron, oxidized. Now it is oxidized. So reversibly oxidized. So ferrous, absorbed in ferric form. Out of all the micronutrients, iron is absorbed in maximum quantity. And iron is required for chlorophyll synthesis, but it is not part of chlorophyll. And iron is a component of a certain number of proteins which are involved in electron transport system, particularly cytochromes, ferredoxin also, right? And iron is concerned with the catalytic activity of catalase enzyme, catalase enzyme. So you have to remember all these things. And second one, after iron, take zinc, Zn2 plus divalent. Okay, so zinc role. Zinc is an activator of a certain number of enzymes. What are they? Alcoholic dehydrogenase, carboxypeptidase. Zinc is required for the synthesis of oxygens. Next, third one. Mn2 plus manganese, divalent cationic form. Manganese is very, very important for catalysis, activator of a certain number of enzymes involved in particularly photosynthesis, respiration, and some extent particularly photosynthesis respiration. And Mn2 plus is the outstanding function of Mn2 plus is photolysis of water, breakdown of water during photosynthesis, evolution of O2, Mn2 plus. Right? Next. Fourth one, molybdenum. Molybdate. Molybdate. MOO2 plus. MOO2 plus. Cationic form. Molybdenum, activator of a number of enzymes of photosynthesis, respiration, and nitrogen metabolism. Dinitrogenase, nitrogenase involved in nitrogen metabolism. Molybdenum, particularly. Next, fifth one. Next one is boron. Boron is absorbed in BO33 minus borate anionic form or B4O7 2 minus. Boron importance. Boron is required for uptake of calcium, pollen germination, carbohydrate translocation, required for differentiation of tissues, growth and development. So role of boron is very, very important. Pollen germination, male gametophyte development, calcium uptake, differentiation of tissues, carbohydrate translocation. For phloem transport, boron is mandatory. So that is about boron. Next, sixth one, copper. Copper is absorbed in Cu2 plus cupric. Okay, and this is also reversibly oxidized. For example, Cu2 plus more charge. That is okay. Now taking electron. Okay, that is redox potential values. Redox potential values. Electron negativity. So one electron is accepted by this one. So now what about positive charge? That is now Cu plus cuprous. Now wait. Electron and donation of electron, removal of electron. Now as it is a positive charge restored. Now what about copper? Involved in a number of redox reactions in electron transport system. Okay, right? So that is about copper, and it is a catalytic activator of certain number of enzymes which are involved in electron transport system. Next, seventh one, chlorine, Cl minus, anionic form. Concerned with this is a one type of a solute that is able to balance, that is concerned with anion cation balance, osmoregulation, and chlorine is very essential for photolysis of water also. Photolysis of water. Chlorine complete. Next one, nickel. Nickel, Ni. Positive charge on cationic form. Nickel is a activator of urease enzyme. That urease enzyme is concerned with nitrogen metabolism. Next, nickel is able to increase or induce resistance against diseases in plants. Immunity, concerned with immunity, able to induce immunity, able to develop, able to induce resistance against certain number of diseases in the case of plants. So that is about importance of both macro and micronutrients.